Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving into 15 absolutely mind-blowing facts about our world that honestly sound like they were pulled straight out of a sci-fi novel. But trust me, based on the research we're looking at, they are entirely true. Let's look at the data together and see how our reality is often way stranger than fiction. So, let me ask you a question. Are you ready to question literally everything you thought you knew? Because we're about to go on a pretty wild journey. We're going from the absolute deepest parts of the underground right through some seriously bizarre biological anomalies and all the way out into the freezing vacuum of space. Let's get into it.
Section 1, Earth's Hidden Extremes. We're starting out by exploring the literal ground beneath our feet. And this brilliantly illustrates just how little we've actually explored. Despite all our advanced technology, humanity has barely scratched the surface of our planet. The Kola superdeep borehole in Russia is the absolute deepest hole humans have ever managed to drill. It reaches an impressive 12.2 kilometers down. But when you compare that to the Earth's total radius of roughly 6,300 kilometers, yeah, it's virtually nothing. Just a tiny pinprick. But imagine if we could go all the way down. Scientists estimate that Earth's totally unreachable core contains just massive, enormous quantities of precious metals. Get this, there is actually enough gold trapped right there in the center to completely coat the entire surface of our planet. Just let that sink in. It's a completely unimaginable amount of wealth, and it's locked away right beneath our feet. Okay, bringing our perspective just a bit closer to the surface, we find Vietnam's Son Doong Cave. This place is wild. It's the largest known cave in the world, and it is so ridiculously massive that it actually hosts its own thriving ecosystem. We're talking huge openings in the cave ceiling that let sunlight just pour in, which sustains a literal lush underground jungle. It has rushing rivers, and yes, it even has its very own localized clouds. No way, right? Now, above ground, the extremes are just as wild. Take Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, for example. Here, thunderstorms don't just pass through, they totally linger. During certain seasons, you can witness these spectacular, continuous lightning strikes for hours on end, almost every single night. It's essentially a massive atmospheric engine unlike anywhere else on Earth. And, learning all this forces us to rethink some common definitions. When you hear the word desert, you probably picture scorching heat and endless rolling sand dunes, right? Well, scientifically speaking, a desert is defined strictly by very low precipitation. It actually has nothing to do with temperature. Because of that little technicality, the freezing ice-covered continent of Antarctica is technically the world's largest desert. Talk about a plot twist. All right, moving on to Section 2, Human Limits and Boundaries, Traversing the Earth. So, for instance, let's look at North Sentinel Island in India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This place is home to the Sentinelese, who are one of the world's last uncontacted peoples, and unauthorized contact here is strictly prohibited. The Indian government enforces this to protect both outsiders and the isolated tribe themselves. It makes the island an absolute no-go zone on our modern map. And actually, we face strict physical boundaries way up in the sky, too. You might think modern airplanes can just fly anywhere seamlessly, but airlines actually have to carefully plan their routes around parts of the Tibetan Plateau whenever practical. Why? Well, the extreme elevation, combined with having almost zero options for a safe emergency landing, makes it simply too risky to fly directly over. But hey, when flight paths are clear, they can be remarkably fast. 1 minute. Yep, you heard that right, 1 single minute. That is how long it can take to complete the world's shortest scheduled flight. It's located in Scotland, and the trip between Westray and Papa Westray normally takes about 2 minutes. But if you get some favorable winds, the aircraft can complete the entire journey in under 60 seconds. Literally faster than making a cup of coffee. Okay, let's dive into this next part, Section 3, Bizarre Biological Wonders, looking at life's anomalies.
Consider for a second our whole understanding of evolutionary time. I mean, you might naturally assume that trees and forests are these foundational parts of the Earth that have just always been here. But check this out. Sharks have actually been swimming in our oceans for more than 400 million years. The earliest trees appeared much later. So yeah, that means sharks, as an entire group of species, are older than trees. How crazy is that?
And speaking of crazy biology, let's talk about the number 3. While we humans rely on a single heart to keep us going, octopuses have a grand total of 3 hearts. Two of these hearts are dedicated entirely to pumping blood to the octopus's gills, while the third one pumps blood to the rest of the body. And the wildest part? That main body heart actually stops beating completely while the octopus swims. It just takes a little break. Sometimes chemistry just entirely defies the passage of time. For example, archaeologists have discovered honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that is literally thousands of years old. And remarkably, it is completely unspoiled. Because of its incredibly low moisture content and its specific natural acidity, bacteria simply cannot grow in it. So theoretically, you could spread thousands of years old honey on your morning toast today and be totally fine. I mean, I wouldn't, but you could.
Speaking of amazing biology, let's talk about you. Your brain is performing billions of complex calculations every single second, yet its energy consumption is just astonishingly efficient. It actually operates on roughly the same amount of power as a small, dim light bulb. The sheer efficiency of human biology totally puts our very best supercomputers to shame. All right, bringing it home with Section 4, Physics, Chemistry, and Space. The strange rules of the universe. Let's start with something you might actually have sitting in your kitchen fruit bowl right now. Bananas naturally contain potassium, and that includes a tiny, tiny amount of the radioactive isotope potassium-40. So yes, this means your bananas are technically slightly radioactive, but please don't worry, the amount is so microscopically small that it is completely harmless during normal consumption. It's just a quirky, lighthearted fact of everyday chemistry. Now, we all know the three basic states of matter, right? Solid, liquid, and gas. Normally, water transitions between these one by one, but under very specific pressure and temperature conditions, there's a phenomenon known as the triple point. At this exact perfect stage, water can miraculously boil and freeze at the exact same time, existing simultaneously as a solid, liquid, and gas. It's this super precise state that's actually actively used to calibrate professional thermometers all over the world. Finally, let's look way out into space. We've all seen the blockbuster sci-fi movies, right? The ones with giant spaceships firing lasers and huge booming explosions. But the reality is actually quite different. Space is completely silent. That's right, because the vacuum of space has almost no particles to carry sound waves. Sound simply cannot travel. So no matter how incredibly massive the cosmic explosion might be, in space it happens in absolute terrifying silence. So what does this all mean? And more importantly, what incredible mystery will we discover next? Our planet and our universe are undeniably far stranger than fiction, and scientists are constantly uncovering realities that completely challenge our basic assumptions. I really hope this explainer leaves you in awe of just how many mysteries are still waiting out there to be explored. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.